Imagine what your life would look like if you stopped accepting the barriers placed in front of you. Welcome to Limitless Living with Purpose and Joy, the podcast dedicated to discovering the alternatives. Each week, we tackle the 3 pillars of limitation that get in our way: the external pressures of society, the internal noise of self-doubt, and the physical challenges that try to slow us down. Together, we will uncover the solutions to help us live our best lives. And now, your host, Trace Kingham.
Welcome to episode 6, The Blueprint for Joy. I am Trace Kingham, and today it is just you and me, and we're talking about my favorite word in the title of this podcast, joy. Normally, I ask a guest a limitless hack right out of the gate, and today the hack I'm going to share with you to finding your joy is if you're feeling stuck, maybe uninspired, or wondering what's next in your life, here is immediate action that you can take. Look backward. Now, looking back at what you loved to do as a kid, what you were drawn to for absolutely no apparent reason. And I believe the blueprint to our adult joy is buried in our childhood play. When we quiet the noise and listen to that inner child, we find the answers. So let's explore that a little bit today. So before I share how I found my joy, let's define it. The dictionary defines joy as a feeling of great pleasure and happiness, but I think it's much deeper than that. Joy is not constant happiness. There are times in my life when I'm just overwhelmed, exhausted, stressed out, sad. I feel all my emotions. So I'm not in constant happiness, and that's not what we're working towards in this podcast here. Happiness is an emotion based on your circumstances. Joy is a state of being based on your purpose. Joy is a state of being based on your purpose. And that's what I want to hopefully help and really help individuals and share my story of how I find my purpose, which gets me to my joy. So first, I think we need to acknowledge the hard stuff. I've done that on my first podcast. I am preparing another podcast to talk a little bit more deeply about my hard stuff, my pain, my trauma. Life can be brutally hard, and many of you listening have survived severe trauma, abuse, or deep pain. And it might feel like it's impossible to find joy. But what I've found is taking that 5 to 10 minutes a day to just quiet the noise. Some call it meditation. Some call it just stillness. It's an opportunity to tap into that joy that you're looking for. Maybe bring some compassion to the circumstances for which you've survived. Acknowledge that how strong you are because you did survive, and not give power to those that may have hurt you. And I believe the hard stuff gets us to where we are today and helps us find our purpose. A new perspective on healing, finding joy doesn't mean you have to magically forgive and forget. And I'm not saying that in this podcast whatsoever. We're all on a journey. And the people who hurt you, especially in that trauma that was severe, you don't want to force forgiveness if it doesn't fit your healing. You want to reframe, maybe relook at, acknowledge, and find what works for you in order to move forward and not allow that severe trauma or that pain or that name calling or whatever that might be stop you. And there have been many times in my life where it stopped me, where it's stopped me right in my tracks and kept me from doing what I wanted to do. But somehow I just pushed through it, and maybe not in the healthiest of ways, but I just kept pushing And when I found the ability to talk more about it with myself, I wrote that a book about my experiences a couple years ago, and that's when the journey of healing started for me. I'll never forget, but I will not allow those voices that wanted me to not succeed really win. So the goal for finding joy means that you refuse to let the pain be the only thing that defines your life. You are allowed to carry your scars and cultivate joy at the exact same time. So, how do we find it? We look for clues from when we were kids. Like I said at the top of the program, before the world told us that we should be doing this, or putting us in our place, or creating laws that say you can't do this, whatever the circumstances might be for you. For me, I'm going to share a few ways in which I really looked back at my childhood for clues as to my purpose and joy. My mom and my granny and my grandmother all had their own businesses. That entrepreneurship was just ingrained in me. Um, I really loved playing business owner in my granny's ceramic shop. I sat at my grandmother's desk, who was an accountant for grocery stores in a small community that where I grew up, and playing with her calculator in a world before the internet and before cell phones. And the clue, I was always meant to be an entrepreneur and a producer. And today, for those that may not know what I do, is I've had my own business since 2003. I've been producing events, which I love. I love helping clients succeed. I love producing events and experiences. And it all comes back to that. I find that joy in it when I think about what I was doing as a child. I was pretending to own that ceramic studio, and I was loved putting on parties. I loved baking and sewing, and it was just pure joy when I was with my mom and grandparents, and really working with them on honing my craft as a baker or a sewer, or as a watching them as a business owner. Now, cheerleading was a passion for performing, leading. I loved the leading and going for it, even when people thought I was crazy. I just found some joy in it for no apparent reason. It was just seeing that on television when I was a young boy was so exciting, and I was thinking that's something that I can do that is really for my joy and my purpose. Now, the adult translation to today is, we know I'm exhausted and weary from the spring event season. We produce so many events back to back in the spring season, but what keeps me moving forward, and that and really understanding and feeling that joy through all the exhaustion and through the physical hurdles that I have to go through week in and week out in the spring to ensure these events are so successful for our clients, is I think about what I'm doing for these clients beyond them. I'm helping them create a platform for advocacy for their mission, um, helping individuals come together for a common cause. And then I think about the people that they're helping. These organizations are making a huge difference in the lives of people that may not be able to afford education, may have suffered a disaster, may have life threatening diseases or trauma through an accident, and they need life saving blood. I think about those that don't have the means to have food on the table for their children, and they can go to the pantry, in which we just helped an organization raise millions of dollars so that throughout the year they have food on shelves to give to those families that need it. Those are the little things that I look for each and every day for my joy. And I hope that when you're thinking about whatever your circumstances might be, you don't have to own a business. You don't have to follow the footsteps that I'm sharing with you, but maybe you're a cashier at a grocery store, and think about the things that you're doing to help that individual get the food they need. It may not be a circumstance that you dreamt of, but you can find your purpose in those elements of what you're doing and really think beyond just the day to day, but how are you impacting individuals? Maybe it's that level of customer service and you're making that individual feel so special in a life that they're just overwhelmed with taking care of kids and working, and maybe they haven't been able to find their purpose and joy. So I encourage you to really look for those clues in your childhood. And for me, another way in which I find joy is, after a busy spring season last summer, I took a baking class. Every Saturday morning for 4 hours, I was at a baking class and learning French patisserie, and, I don't do that every day, but it was just so refreshing to learn and get the skills, and it just brought me back to my childhood, work baking with my mom and my grandparents. And I really believe that if you can find a way to just tap back into that childhood, those clues from your childhood, and find opportunities to go out and throw a baseball, if that's something that you love to do as a child, find things that can really re-energize you and really help you find your joy. Now, joy isn't just found in hobbies. It can be found in looking back at the mountains you've climbed. So sometimes we're focused so much on that next goal, we forget to celebrate what we've already built. So for me, I think about the dreams that I've already successfully acquired, maybe my family, adopting 2 boys. I look at the pictures when they were babies, and sometimes there's tears, but it's because I'm so proud of that. We fought for that. Even when someone told me no and told Brad and I that we can't do that, that you're not worthy, you can't have children, the judge turning us away. But we kept fighting and pushing for what we wanted in our lives. And I just am so proud of that. So I think look back at the mountains that you've climbed and acknowledge it and know that you did something great in your life that brings you purpose and joy. As an early adult, I just wanted to have something more. I don't know what that more was. I wasn't in tune with myself. I didn't sit for 5 to 10 minutes a day and tap in like I do now, but somehow it just kept coming through and I allowed that to come through. And that was, starting a business, taking a leap of faith in myself. And when I look back, how all the trials and tribulations that incurred, but it was so worth it because again, I was helping so many individuals through our clients, through the experiences that we were creating. And the overwhelming joy is proving the world wrong, defying those external rules and building this beautiful family that so many in the world believe that I did not deserve. Now, joy requires purpose, as I mentioned at the top of the program, and purpose requires maintenance. So that's what this program is really all about. If we want to stay in a state of joy and we want to have, we have to actively protect those 3 hurdles that I talk about, those physical hurdles, those internal hurdles that we face, and those externals that we face. So for me, as I've shared in the past, I have a lot of physical, a lot of us do as we age. So I work out to stay in shape, not for vanity. I mean, it's an afterthought. It does come and I get those compliments and I really appreciate it. But really it's because I'm protecting my physical vessel that ensures that my back, my hips stay strong, allowing me to travel and allowing me to physically experience joy and really work hard. I mean, what I do is physically demanding. I'm on my feet. I'm moving constantly. In some cases, I have to lift things. So I need to ensure that my body, this vessel of ours, is really strong and able to perform in a way that I've designed my life with a purpose and with joy. Now, those internal hurdles, how do you keep the joy flowing? By working on it daily, meditation, as I mentioned, or quieting the noise, whatever you may call it. I really do that to hear my purpose so that I can find that joy and continue to maintain my joy in my life. And then we have those external hurdles. Joy multiplies when you share it. So talk about advocating for your community. Make donations to organizations that you believe in. Volunteer. Support organizations or things that you know in your heart is what you're all about, your values. Helping remove external hurdles for others brings immense joy to you. And right now, our world could use a lot of individuals to help advocate for others. So if you have the opportunity, maybe you've just found yourself retiring and you have extra time, be sure to find opportunities where you can help others, lift them up, give them a hand up. You will find so much joy in that. And I see it firsthand because I interview individuals of all walks of life for our clients that are either volunteering, donating, and then I get to interview the clients and hear how appreciative they are, how much they needed the help at that time. And maybe it was a blip. We all have times in our lives where we have a little bit of a blip and we need some help. Find opportunities to help others will bring immense joy. So I ask guests on every show a final question, and today I'm posing it to you. If you are feeling stuck, maybe you just retired and you're thinking of now what, or maybe you're struggling to find a purpose, what is a first small step that you can take today? And my answer to you is this: take a small step backwards to take a giant leap forward. Close your eyes, quiet the noise, and remember what made you smile when you were 10 years old. Then find a way to do it this week. Find a way to do it this week. If you loved baking and you haven't done it for years and years, just go buy a cake mix box and make a cake. Mentor a young person, volunteer, take a class, find something to do this week. Now, I know life is hard, but it can also be incredibly beautiful. Stop and reflect on the past and never stop dreaming of the future, no matter your age, no matter your circumstances. Never stop dreaming for the future. You deserve a life of purpose and joy. I want to thank you for being part of this community. Please subscribe, share this with someone, maybe someone that you feel like could use a little smile today, a little help. And visit limitlesslivingwithpurposeandjoy.com for more information and upcoming events and experiences that I know I'm working really hard for. That's my dream, is to really take this platform and help so many more. So thank you. I'm Trace Kingham. Let's live limitless. And I look forward to you joining me on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Limitless Living with Purpose and Joy. Subscribe and follow. New episodes are released every Wednesday. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit limitlesslivingwithpurposeandjoy.com for show notes.